Welcome to the team call tonight. It is Monday, June 22nd, and I just wanted to do a couple housekeeping things because we have a special guest tonight and I don't want to keep her waiting. But tomorrow we have salted caramel Shakeology launching, so be sure to talk to your customers about that. Get your orders in. That is going to be really exciting. We have a flash sale on Monday, the 29th, which I posted the link to the group in our team page today, so make sure you're inviting to that. We're going to have some good deals going on, really just highlighting the sales right now. This coming Wednesday, it's on our calendar, but we have our team call with Josh Coates at 12 p.m. Eastern. I will create an event for that too. And then finally, we have so much exciting things going on, but the muscle burns fat, the sample workout, the trial sample workout is going to be out next Monday. So you can be talking about that. I think I posted some things on the team page about stories that you can use for that. And that should be really exciting. So I'm so excited for tonight. We have my friend Alison Gannon here to talk to us. I met Alison through the group that I do with Josh, the Push Elite group. We are lucky enough to be working in a pod together. So we get to work with each other and encourage each other. And, you know, it's really been so amazing to get to know her and watch her grow. And I heard her speak in the Push Mastermind group that he does last week, and I just was floored. And I loved hearing her talk about her journey through this coaching thing and how she leads just being herself. And that's what we all should be doing, is being ourselves. But she does it in a way that, you know, I just really respect so much. So I can't wait to hear what she, has to say to us tonight. So go ahead, Alison. The floor is yours.
I'm like so nervous, and thank you for all those wonderful things that you said about me. I was, to be honest with you, I was asked to do that call last week, and I literally was like, "Are you sure you can't find anyone else?" And she's like, "No, we want you to do it." And I was like, "Oh shit." So I went in there literally like whatever, like I had no plan. And that's kind of like how I run my life and run my business, to be honest with you. And I don't really know if that's necessarily a good thing or bad. Well, I think it's a good thing for me, but I don't think a lot of other people think it's a good thing. So I actually had to rewatch the live just to see what I had said, because I told Melissa I kind of like fly by the seat of my pants, and that's basically how I've been leading with my business for the last couple of years. And I'm going to tell you why. So when I first started doing Beachbody, I've been a coach for, it'll be 6 years in August. And when I first started coaching, I wasn't really coaching. I signed up under a false pretense, so to speak. I saw a picture of a girl that I went to high school with who was, I just have to preface this, the biggest bitch in high school. And she had this transformation because when she was in high school, she was the head cheerleader. She was the president of the whatever clubs. And she was like literally like that girl that walked down the hallways and everybody was like, "Oh, I totally want to be her." I went to an all girls high school. And she literally did not give me the time of day all 4 years when I was in school. So anyways, I was following her on social media, and I had seen her transformation when she went to college, like every girl does. Well, I shouldn't say that, but she gained a lot of weight. And so she had this transformation picture, and I was like, well, that before picture kind of looks like me. So I wonder if this is something that would work for me. And I was in that mindset of, well, I just want to look like her. And I was turning 40 years old. I'm turning 46 this year. So I just had this picture of myself of how I wanted to look. And she looked that part. So I reached out to her and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm drinking this shake." And I was like, "You're going to drink a shake and that's the way I'm going to look?" And she was like, "Well, yeah." And that's how she sold it to me. She told me, "You're going to drink a shake and you're going to look like that." And I swear to you, like, this is how my relationship started with Beachbody. So I was like, okay, I'll drink the shake. What have I got to lose? Now, we all know we've all tried every nook and cranny of a diet, of a lifestyle that you can name that's been out there. I mean, I've wrapped myself. I've taken pills. Like, I've done everything. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll spend the $140. I got the DVDs. Never did them. Drank the shake. Thought it was disgusting. I'm not going to lie to you. And I wasn't losing weight. I wasn't seeing results, whatever. But I was like, whatever, I'll still drink the shake. So I was a gym rat my entire life. And at that point, I was still going to the gym all the time. And I had never done a home workout in my entire life. So I was super against it. I'm like, I am not even going to put this DVD in. Well, after a while, I was always posting on social media because it's just who I am. And a lot of my friends were always like, what are you drinking all the time? And I was like, I don't know, this shake. So then all of a sudden, all my friends were like, well, I want to drink the shake too. And I was like, okay, whatever. So then I was like, well, I might as well start selling the shake. So I might as well just become a coach. Well, I didn't do the whole like coaching thing the right way from the beginning. I was selling the shake all the time. And while it was working for me, it wasn't authentic for me because I didn't want to sell a product. So I started to shift my gears a little bit because it started to get a little rocky in social media world because, you know, we as Beachbody coaches, we have a bad rap by a lot of people. We are like the MLM that everyone hates to hate on. And I will tell you, I am probably one of the top 10 coaches that are hated on. If you guys, and I shouldn't even tell you this, but if you Google me, I am on every single disgusting forum that you can possibly imagine. And the shit that people say about me is so offensive and so disgusting on so many levels. But I laugh about it now because I'm like, whatever, at least they're making me relevant, right? I wasn't always like that though, but we'll get to that. So anyways, I decided after I went to Summit, it was in Nashville 2 years in a row. And then after Nashville, we went to New Orleans. When I was in New Orleans, I ended up going to Summit by myself. I didn't have my team there because I had had a falling out with my upline. And it was because I take a Pilates class every single Tuesday. I've been going to Pilates every single Tuesday for almost 6 years now. And I posted about it all the time. And my upline was like, you can't post that you take Pilates. And I was like, but why? It's a part of my life. It's what I do. She's like, but it doesn't, it's not in compliance with Beachbody. You have to sell Beachbody. And I was like, that's bullshit because that means I'm lying about what I'm doing. I'm getting results, not because I'm doing Beachbody, but because I'm doing Pilates too. And it started to get dirty to me because it was like they were trying to lead me into a lifestyle of sales instead of a lifestyle of this is who I am. And these are the components of what is making me who I am. So it started to get really hard for me to show up on social media because I didn't feel like I was being my authentic self. And I feel that if we show up that way, we're not going to find our right people because you're going to lead with, well, this is who I am. But then when they meet you in real life, it's not who you are. So it's like you're selling a fictitious person. And I did not like that about myself. And I will tell you, and I didn't say this in the other team call because I just remember this right now, my kids were the one that called me out on it. And they were the reason why I started to shift my mindset. Because my oldest son is almost 21. And every time I would get off my stories and talking, he'd be like, Mom, why are you lying to those people? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not lying. And he goes, Mom, you're not being who you truly are. Like you're one way and then you turn it off and then you turn into who you are. And I was like, wow, that's real deep when your own kid is calling you out on your own shit. So I had this huge falling out because then all of a sudden I went on my very first Success Club trip and it was in Riviera Maya and that was like 3 years ago. And my entire upline confronted me in front of everyone at closing ceremonies and embarrassed and humiliated the ever-living God out of me. And they literally were like shaming me in front of people because they were like, you act like you're so much better than everybody and you're this and you're that and this, that, and the other thing because I wouldn't conform to the ways that they wanted me to be. Now, I will tell you this, I have heard through the grapevine that my entire upline has since kind of like crumbled and that everybody is kind of not really like together anymore. And it's because I'm sure they got sick of putting on a persona of who they wanted people to think that they were. And it's hard. And that's the point that I'm trying to make to you. If you're not showing up on social media as who you are as a person, it gets exhausting. And then sometimes you don't remember who you are anymore because you don't know who you're trying to be. So if you're not being who you truly are every single day, your customers are going to catch on to you, and they're going to start to realize that. And it becomes really, really hard to sell a lifestyle to people, which is what we are supposed to be doing, because people don't really know exactly what it is that your lifestyle is. So I just started one day. I woke up and I was like, it's time for me to change, and it's time for me to be who I am. And I started to get transparent on social media, and I started to get vulnerable, which was probably one of the hardest, humbling things that I've ever done. And I just started sharing parts of my life as I felt compelled. And I don't share every part of my life because there are some things that I have to keep personal. But I do let my followers know things that I'm going through because you need to be relatable with people. And the first step for me was for when I came out and I told my followers that I had breast implants. That was so hard for me to do because I was in the process of going through an explant journey. I had just found out that my breast implants were making me sick, and it was something that I was not going to be able to hide from the people that follow me because I was going to have major surgery and they were going to have to know about it. So I had to come clean with that. And it was probably one of the most humbling experiences that I've ever had in my entire life, because I showed people who I really was. And the funny thing is that no one even knew I had them. My own parents didn't even know. So I walked my followers through that journey, and I showed them how scared I was, and I showed them how I wanted to change my life for the better, and how I shared how the Beachbody community was helping me get to that point. And that's the point that we are all here to make. Had I not went to Summit in New Orleans and met this one coach who was talking at the pool about how she had breast implants and how they were making her sick, I would have never looked into it myself. We sell the community. We sell what Beachbody is and how it's helping us change who we are as people. The products are just a component of that. And that's where I was getting it wrong, because I kept being like, oh, well, here, this is what I'm doing. I'm drinking a shake. And then you wonder why people can't connect with you and why people don't want to get involved and get engaged and help actually change their life. You need to express to people, well, what's going on in your life that's holding you back from becoming a better version of yourself. And when I started to get real with the things that were holding me back, it's when I started to connect with other people, and all of the other particles of the lifestyle and all of those other components started to come into place. And I'm not telling you guys that you have to share like the most intricate parts of your life, but if people don't know you for who you are, and if they don't know that you have emotions and that you have likes and dislikes, and you know, I was sharing in the live video, I just have to laugh about it because you guys, I hate Autumn. I'm not going to lie about it. And I tell my followers all the time, she's just not my jam. I love her workouts. 80-Day Obsession is one of my most favorite workouts ever, but I can't stand the bitch. And I say that in my stories all the time. I'm like, I fucking can't stand her. She is fake as hell. I don't know. I'm sorry, but you guys, I've met her in person, and I literally want to just like, I just can't with her. I can't. But you know what? And then I tell everybody I met Joel in person, and he's hot as fuck. And I said that, like, it's like, I'm not kidding. And then there's Chris Downing, who I literally wanted to lick him up and down. Like, and I say these things in my stories because that's how it is. But the thing is that I'm showing people that even though I can't stand these trainers, or that I hate Jericho's morning meltdown, I'm still doing the actual program because it's part of who I am, and I at least want to try something. So don't be afraid to be honest about people either, and say, well, I'm doing morning meltdown. This is what I would say. I'm doing morning meltdown. I can't believe I committed to 100 days of this. It is the worst workout ever. And can I tell you something? Everybody started signing up for it because they all wanted to see, what is this workout that she hates so much that she keeps doing? And it wasn't like a sales tactic. I'm just telling people, like, I don't like this part of my lifestyle. I hate working out. And if you don't tell people the things that you don't like, then you're not relatable. You know what I mean? Like, I drink celery juice every single morning. It makes me want to vomit. You can ask the girls on my team because they watch me in my stories. I literally regurgitate every single morning when I'm drinking it, but I do it because it makes me healthier. And that's what you have to show these girls. Like, I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. every morning to work out, but I do it because it's helping me change my life. And I complain about it and I bitch about it and I cry about it all the time. But my followers love that because they know, like, oh, well, you're just like me now. You know what I'm saying? So you have to remember, authenticity is what is going to sell the product when it comes to people tuning back in. And whoever this person is with the Golden Gate Bridge behind them is cracking me up. I'm sorry. I keep like focusing on that. I'm like, I want to be in San Francisco. But like, I think that for a lot of people, what holds us back is judgment and fear of what everybody else is going to think about us. And you have to get past that. And you just have to have fun with the whole lifestyle thing. And don't be afraid to tell people what you're doing, even if it's not Beachbody compliant, because I'm training for the Chicago Marathon right now. And I will tell you that I have so much support from my followers. And I'm doing the work, which I think is so stupid, because who commits to doing the work when they're training for a marathon? I mean, I just literally want to blow my brains out right now. And I'm doing the Lift 4, like it's the hybrid. So I'm just like, every morning I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I had to run 10 miles on Saturday and I literally was crying my entire way through it. But I tell my followers this because they have to embrace the suck too. It's a part of this whole entire lifestyle process. So if you're not being honest with them, and if you're always like, oh my God, I love this and this, that, and the other thing, it's like, no, like if you're trying to tell people that you love it and you really do love it, then that's great. And I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but there's got to be parts of your life that you just hate and that suck and that make you just want to like scream and shout and literally like bang your head off of a brick wall. And you can't be afraid to tell people that, because that's what's going to make people say, oh my God, she's just like me. And you have to talk in a way, and this is something that I'm learning from Josh saying that, like, we need to talk in third person when we are talking to people, because a lot of the times I say because I make it all about me. I mean, it's just who I am, and I feel like I can because it's my page. But sometimes you have to flip the switch and say you or we, because then like it gets inside their head and they're like, well, yeah, I kind of feel that way too. You want to trigger their emotions in a way where you're going to get the wheels spinning, because they're going to be like, oh, well, if she can do it, then I can do it too. And that's the whole part of this whole process. And it's not like, oh, well, Alison's training for a marathon, so I can train for a marathon too. But no, maybe there's something else that's in the back of their mind that they really, really want to do that you can inspire them to do, because you're actually leaning into your fears and doing something that is scaring the shit out of you. And I always ask my followers, I always get them involved in things that I feel like will make them come back and continue to follow me and to continue to support me and to continue to always want to be like talking to me and say like, okay, like, what are you doing now? And what's this and what's that? Like, I share what I wash my hair with, and I share the makeup, and I share the skincare, and I share like all the things, you know. It's not just about Beachbody, because you're going to lose people. They don't want to be sold to. They want to see exactly what it is that are the components to your lifestyle. And I just had a thought and I forgot, because I know Melissa said that, she wanted me to talk about the cold messaging. Cold messaging is something, I'm sorry, I'm such a squirrel. I go from one thing to another. Cold messaging is that, go ahead, what were you going to say?
So I was going to say one thing. And it was funny because I don't know if anybody else listened to Josh talk in the Boss Babe page today. But when he said this, I was like, this is why I asked you, and obviously we had planned this before I heard him say that, but and I was trying to get the quote exactly right, but something about how we can't expect everybody to do what's worked for us and have it work for them. That's exactly why when you said cold messaging last week, I was like, this is not what I teach on. I teach on relationship building and, building up to this
Right.
stage of the invite. And to think that that's the only way to do things is selfish. And, there's so many different approaches to this business. And when you said that, I was like, I have to have her talk on that because it's not something that I teach. So
Well,
I
it's not
think that that's
something I
awesome.
teach either. It works for me, and it's something
Yeah.
that I've always done. And I don't do like the hey girl thing. Like that thing drives me crazy. I can't stand that. I when I so I don't want to steal you away from Melissa, but if you want to follow me, go right ahead. But if I do cold message you, I want to apologize to you first and foremost, okay? Because I might. I talk to my followers every time I post, and they know that about me. They know my personality, they know my lingo, they know all these things about me because I've captivated them this entire time. Excuse me. I always tell a story when I'm posting. I'm a broadcast journalism major, so I have like that in my blood. I'm a writer, and I love to talk. So when I cold message people, I literally talk to them like I'm actually talking to them in person. And it just works for me. Now, sometimes you get the freaking salty bitches that are like, oh my God, you copy and pasted this. I'm like, so fucking what? Like, who gives a shit? Like I own it. I don't care. I'm like, oh, is that the worst thing that happened to you today is you got a cold message from me? Come on now. And I will tell you, a couple of those girls I had conversations with, like lengthy, and they ended up signing up with me. You know what I mean? Like, so don't discredit them either. I'm like, girl, are you having a bad day? And I talked about this last week on the Push Mastermind call. This one girl was like, no, I don't want your whatever. And I was like, okay, well, I hope your day gets better. And she literally messaged me 3 hours later, and she was like, oh my God, I feel so bad that I was so mean to you. She's like, I know how you are, and I know you weren't trying to sell me anything. And I was like, hey, whatever, like whatever floats your boat, girl. If it made you feel better to yell at me, then you go with your bad self. We ended up having this conversation, and literally at the end of our conversation, she ended up buying a challenge pack from me. Like, and it literally was not even intentional. I was just like, whatever. Like, I don't care if you're having a bad day, and if you want to yell at me and it makes, like, knock your socks off. Like, I don't really give a shit. But you have to develop really thick skin when you're in this business. And it's something that I will tell everybody until the cows come home. I mean, you can't sit and cry about people telling you no. It's going to happen. And the no's will eventually turn into yeses. I will tell you that too. I've been doing this for 6 years. And just because people say no, I'm just like, okay, whatever. But I don't let them say no and then I walk away. I'm always like, okay, well, what's your deal? Like, why don't you want to do it? And you have to like talk to people and get into them, because there's always going to be something underlying that they don't want to lean into. They're afraid. Well, I can't. The one girl, she's like, I can't work out at 4 a.m. I'm like, who the hell said you had to work out at 4 a.m.? She's like, well, that's what time you work out. I'm like, there are no rules to this. Like, I think that you have to remember, and I know that I have to remember too, the way that we present ourselves is, there are people out there that actually want to be like us. And I find that so funny that actually people want to be like me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, why? But it's like, people think like, oh, well, I can't do it the way you do it, Alison. And I'm like, but why would you want to? Like, you have to present that to the people who tell you no, because they don't think that they can do it the way that you're doing it, because they're inspired by you. That's why they're watching you. And that's why they keep coming back, whether they want to admit it or not. You have to remember, you were once that person. You were once that scared person who was too afraid to take the leap when Melissa reached out to you. I don't know how many times Melissa had to reach out to you individually in order to get you to commit to doing this, but you have to remember that you were once that person too. And if you are going to let one person hold you back from reaching out to 20 more people just because one person said no, then you need to pull up your big girl panties and you need to figure your shit out, because there is no rhyme or reason why you should be letting one person's no or 10 people's no continue to allow you to change someone else's life, because that's initially what all of this is about. When you committed to being a coach, you committed to helping other people change their life. It looks different on everybody. And just because I don't have a weight loss transformation, I haven't this whole entire time. My transformation has been emotional and it has been mental. And that's how I brand myself with doing Beachbody. I call my boot camps lifestyle academies, because that's what I teach. I teach a lifestyle because that's what works for me. So what works for Melissa is not necessarily going to work for Lisa and work for Cheryl and work for Laura. It's like Melissa's here to help support you, but she's not here to hold your hand and run your business for you. That is something that you need to do on your own. You need to figure out who you are as a person and brand yourself with those characteristics, and then go and find those people who fit the pieces of your puzzle. They're going to help you build your team. So if, like, for example, for myself, I want to work with people who want to change their lifestyle, not just lose weight. I want people who, you know, and I have Amber and I have Debbie and I have Stephanie and I have Joelle. Like, they are my people and they were attracted to me for a reason, and they're coaches on my team for a reason. And we all connect and we all sell the lifestyle. But Amber sells her lifestyle differently than me. Does it mean she's doing it wrong? Absolutely not. She has her quirkiness about her that I completely love. You should follow Amber. You should follow Debbie. Debbie is 70 years old and she is rocking my socks off. I'll tell you that right now. And then Joelle just joined with me last month. One day she's like, I'm going to sign up as a coach. She's lost 10 pounds. No, I forgot how much. She's lost more than 10 pounds now. And she's only been doing this for 30 days. And then there's Stephanie, who is, Stephanie does not give herself enough credit. She is a recovering alcoholic, but she doesn't think she has anything to offer anybody. And I'm just like, really? Like, I yell at her all the time because she is holding herself back because she's afraid to tell her story. She's also in the military. So, you know, like, everybody has their things about them where they don't feel like they're good enough. And you feel like you don't have, you know, anything to offer anybody. And I'm going through a divorce right now. I've been married for 24 years. My husband left me for another woman. I literally don't even talk about it because it's something that's very personal, but I did tell all my followers. It was extremely hard for me to tell them that. And, but it's a part of who I am. And I get a lot of flack from it, from a lot of followers that are negative. And I don't really care because they're not walking a mile in my shoes. They don't know my story. They don't know, and they don't need to know. There are parts of your story that you keep to yourself because it's just not something that you feel you need to share. And whereas I do inadvertently talk about it because it's a part of what is helping me transform right now, and it's helping me transition into the next phase of my life, I'm still going through it, and I can't publicly talk about it for the sake of my lawyers like Alison. You can get stuck with slander from the court system. So I can't talk about it. But my followers know that I'm having a hard time with life right now because I'm currently not working except doing Beachbody. I don't do Beachbody full time. I have a full-time job, but because of COVID, I've been out of work for 4 months, and I've been sharing my struggles on social media. And it's been extremely hard, but it's been very humbling for me because I do have Beachbody. I don't talk about the coaching aspect of it. I need to learn how to do that more. That's something that I'm afraid of. And I'm afraid of judgment from other people if I talk about coaching. So I have my struggles just like you guys do, but I also have my strengths, and I am trying to focus more on those that I am focusing on my struggles. Because when we get inside of our own heads and we listen to all the white noise and we get to the point where we tear ourselves down over and over. You can ask Melissa. They gave me the award last week for the best mindset transformation over the last 6 months, because I'm telling you, when I started Josh's group, I was in the worst place ever with my mindset. And I literally had a victim mentality, and it was showing through my business. I was barely skating by. I was getting like Success Club 12 every single month, which I am capable of so much more. And it was finally last month, I had an aha moment with the group, and I literally had the best month ever last month in like over 18 months. And I feel like I finally got my mojo back. And it's because I'm surrounding myself with people like Melissa and people like you guys who are helping me realize who I am as a person and how much value I have to offer people. And that's where you need to dig into. You need to dig into the value of what has made you who you are today. And that looks different on everyone. And it's a different size, it's a different shape, it's a different color, but it doesn't mean that you're doing it the wrong way. So don't be afraid to like go outside of the box, and don't be afraid to not talk about Shakeology, and don't be afraid to not talk about Energize. I rarely ever talk about the products, to be honest with you. I start my morning every morning making my Energize. I don't ever talk about it. And I will tell you, every single day, I probably get 5 to 10 messages from people being like, what is that yellow drink that you drink every single morning? And I will tell you that is probably one of the biggest selling points that I have for my challenge packs, because I always lead with the 219 challenge pack. I don't offer things lower unless they desperately tell me that they cannot afford 219. But I told the girls that last week too in the Push Mastermind group. I do believe that everyone needs Energize in their life, they need Recover, and they need Shakeology. And I don't ever lead with a different challenge pack right off the bat. I sell them that, because if you're a beginner and you've never worked out before, you need Energize because you have zero energy. And I do believe this, because once you drink Energize, you're hooked for the rest of your life. There's no way you can be without it. So you've got to get Energize on these girls first and foremost. They're going to need Recover because they're going to be sore, and then they're never going to want to work out again. They're going to work out one day and they're going to be like, oh my God, I can't, I'm so sore. Drink your Recover, girl, you're going to be fine, and let's move it along and go to day 2. And then they need Shakeology. And before you know it, they're hooked on all 3 products, and there you are with the volume. And I always lead with that one. Rarely ever do I have to go to the 160 challenge pack. Rarely ever, because I sell, and I'll tell you, Joelle's on it, Amber's on it, Debbie's on it, and Stephanie's on it. Everybody drinks the same products in my groups, and I don't lead with that either. I don't have like a requirement to be in my group. I don't know if Melissa does or not, but it just works for me. If I know, and I'm just saying, because I have some girls that message me and be like, well, do I have to drink Shakeology to be in your group? But no, you have to try it at least, like start off with like at least giving yourself 30 days with it. And if you don't like it, then fine. Like, I'm not going to force people to drink the products, but I do believe that the girls that don't drink it end up buying it because they see everybody else in the group drinking it, and they have FOMO. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that for what works for me is the fact that I just am myself on social media, and I am very, very aggressive. I am very, very loud. I am very intense, and I am very tough love. And it works for me because I show up that way every single day. And on the days I don't, my followers know, Alison's quiet today, something's going on. And then they know there's going to be a huge dramatic entrance the next day, and I'm seriously going to go like balls to the wall. Like today, I was not on my stories at all. I've had a really hard day today. But it's the buildup of everybody that wants to see, like, okay, well, what's Alison doing now? And I will tell you that I've had a lot of success because of what I've shared, and because I show people, well, yeah, I'm going through divorce, and I'm raising 2 boys on my own, and I'm not working, but I'm still getting up at 4 a.m. every single day, and I'm training for a marathon now, and I'm doing my programs, and I'm showing up even though I don't have to. And I tell people, it's hard. I don't want to get out of bed every day, but I get out of bed because of my group. I get out of bed because I'm leading by example, and I promised my girls that I would do it, and that's why I'm doing it. So sell the support, sell the accountability, sell the community, and sell the lifestyle. And I will tell you that everything will come together in a way where it's just going to be like super easy peasy, and you're just going to want to continue to do what you're doing. I don't see this as a job, and I love that part of it, because I can't imagine not doing it. I can't imagine not picking up my phone and doing a story in the middle of the day for no reason. And I don't dread it. And that's how I know that this is my passion, because in the beginning, when I was doing that and when I wasn't being authentic, it was hard for me, and I dreaded it. I dreaded posting. I dreaded taking pictures, and you could tell, because I started sharing pictures of myself from like 3 or 4 years ago, as like, they pop up in your memories or whatever, and you could see how miserable I am in every single picture because I wasn't being myself. And people noticed it right away. They're like, we can see the sadness in your eyes. And I didn't notice it until they started to notice it. And that's how I know I'm changing, because we all don't have a physical transformation sometimes. Sometimes it has to be something else that is helping you get to that next point. And that's what working out does for me. Working out helps me mentally. Working out helps me to gain confidence. And working out is showing me how strong of a person that I truly am. I actually made that post today, this morning, and I had said, lifting weights isn't making me strong. All the times I got knocked down and got back up from all the adversity that have been thrown at me is what's making me strong. And putting myself in a position to do a program like The Work is showing me that through all the mental anguish that is going on in my life right now, I could still get up and do the Crucible, which is ridiculous. And I could do push-pull, and I can listen to him screaming and yelling at me. And there's days where I cry through my entire workout because it's hard mentally, but I still do it because it's something that brings out the best in me. And I want you to understand that when you are leading with your heart and when you are leading with everything that is happening in your life. So don't be afraid to be who you truly are, because that's the only way that you're going to be successful in this business, is if you are presenting yourself on social media in a way that is going to be authentic in every sense of the word. So I don't know, do you guys have any questions? Because I could literally still talk.
I love this so much. This is just like, you're such a good example of what this community can do for someone. And you literally could have stopped so many times and nobody would have called you for it, but you never did.
I know. And like, you know what else has been helpful to me too? Like, I have never liked constructive criticism. I have been fighting it for my entire life. And when I signed up to be in Josh's group, I did not realize the amount of constructive criticism that I was going to get. And it has changed me, because I think that the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from being a coach in the last 6 years is realizing that I needed to listen to what other people were saying to me about me, and then taking that information and actually changing. And when I say that out loud, because I talk about that in my stories all the time, I always tell people, like, someone said this to me today and it really made me think, like, I really need to reevaluate the way that I am as a person. And it's extremely humbling when you can say out loud, yeah, I have issues and I need to change. And people want to see that you are actually taking the lead and walking the walk and talking the talk. And I might not do it as gracefully as a lot of the other coaches do, but I do it in my own way, where I will tell you that I've gained a lot of respect from a lot of people that hated me when I first started doing Beachbody, because a lot of those Reddit accounts, they follow me just to see me kind of crumble and kind of like lose my shit. And I have a handful of girls that have come to me and said, I wanted to see what you were all about, and you've changed so much, and you've actually inspired me. And they've actually signed up to be on my team. So never underestimate the power of what someone else is saying to you, even if it hurts your feelings, because sometimes I feel like the best constructive criticism is from an outsider looking in when you're least expecting it. And it really does knock you off your feet and take your breath away in so many different circumstances. But the best thing that you can do is get back up and prove them wrong and say, okay, I need to work on this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to change. And I like to consider myself imperfectly perfect and a work in progress. And I don't do things with the intention of trying to be better than anyone. I lead with, I want to be better than who I was yesterday. And that's the message that I am using in a lot of the posts that I've been making lately. I'm trying to stay as calculated as I can with my journey, so that people kind of like are flowing with my stories and flowing with my posts and understanding. I don't really ever talk about Beachbody and Shakeology in my posts. I talk about what the things that are doing in my lifestyle are helping me change. And then people reach out to me and they say, well, what exactly is it that you do? And then I tell them, and they're like, well, is that why you are changing so much? And I said, well, yeah, it's because of the community. So it's like, I lead with my lifestyle, and I put that out there for people to be like, God, I want to know what the hell she's doing. And it wasn't intentional at first. And now it's like, I want people to be like, what is she doing? So a lot of the times and I said this last week in the group, last month, all the Success Club points I had were people that reached out to me. I did not have to invite one single person. And I had Success Club 38 last month. And they were all people that have been following me that have said, I want to do what you're doing. And I literally did not have to even try last month. And it literally blew me out of the water because I was like, wow, I actually figured this shit out. I blew my own damn mind. And, you know, we have a pod together, which I love and which has become a really important part of my life because Josh put us together, and I'm afraid of what's going to happen next time with the next group because he's going to break us up. But I just think that finding yourself a Success Club partner, and this is something else that I want to tell you too really quick. I hope I still have time. I want to tell them the Melissa McAllister story really quick. So I told you guys that my upline completely washed their hands of me. They blocked me on social media and they disowned me. So I've been the blind leading the blind and kind of just doing my own thing and figuring things out on my own. I am a lifetime 1-star diamond. Is that what it is? Lifetime? Well, I don't even know. I'm not about the rank, to be honest with you. I love the company so much that I'm just not about the acclimates of it, but the money is great, I will tell you that. But I was on the Success Club trip last year on the cruise, and I had my son with me who is 17, and we were eating dinner together in the dining room, and I had my head down and I heard my name. It was Melissa McAllister, and she was like, Alison Gannon. And I looked up and I saw her standing there, but it didn't occur to me that it was her. Cause I was like, well, how the fuck would she know my name? So I'm like looking around and stuff. And Nolan's like, Mom, it's the lady standing right in front of you. And I was like, and I looked up and I was like, Melissa? And she was like, yes, Alison, I'm talking to you. And I literally started bawling, crying. I was like, you know my name. And she was like, I've been following you on social media for a really long time now. And she's like, I know your story. I know your situation. And I want to extend my help to you. And I was like, what? And she's like, well, I know that you don't have support from a team. And I want to invite you to be a part of my team. And I was like, is this a joke? And she was like, no. And her husband, Mick, was standing right next to her. And he's like, no, she's not kidding. And I was like, why? Like, why are you being so nice to me? And she goes, because I believe in you. And then I started bawling even more. And I was just like, oh my God. And I actually have the picture because Nolan took a picture of the two of us. And I was like standing there, my face is all redneck from crying and whatever. But the next day she called me and she added me to her team page. I called compliance to make sure that I wasn't going to get in trouble. And they were like, no, Alison. And Jemima, who is head of compliance, this is exactly what she said to me. She's like, I wish more coaches would understand that Beachbody is about a community. It's not just about who your upline is. If you get help from anyone in this community, then we are doing our job. So just because Melissa is your upline doesn't mean that you can't work with another coach from another team. It means that you can reach out to whoever it is that inspires you, and Melissa's not going to get butthurt about it. She's going to support you because she wants you to be successful. She wants you to be more successful than her. And I think that a lot of people are afraid to get out of their comfort zone and go to other people for support and go to other people for some sort of inspiration. And that doesn't make it bad. It makes you a human being. And I got shamed for that in the beginning because Amy Silverman is my spirit animal. I show everybody, I'm like, here's her picture. We met at Summit in Nashville, and it literally sits here, and I stare at it all day long. I'm like, oh my God, I love her. I literally was crying in her arms. I don't know if you see that. And she was like laughing at me. I'm like, I love you. And then here's my word that Josh made us write in January, which is right over our picture. But when I took that picture and I went on social media and I was like, oh my God, I met my spirit animal. I met Amy Silverman, and my upline was like, I cannot believe you did that. And this was part of our falling out because she was like, you are going to send all your followers to her, and now she's going to take all of your business. And I was like, well, then I wasn't meant to have those people to begin with. They're not my people if they're going to follow her. And I don't care if they follow her, because if she can inspire them and help change their life, then I feel like I had a part in that, because she has helped change my life. And Melissa McAllister's helped change my life, and Melissa McWeeny helped change my life, and Debbie helped change my life. And it's like, you have to look to all the other peers that are a part of our community and realize that they are all helping shape you into being a better person. And it could be another MLM too that helps you. Like, I have friends that do Monet. I have friends that do Unique. Is that even a thing anymore? I don't even know. But it's like, don't be afraid to name drop other people and other MLMs and other things, because it's like, you want to show people that you empower other women and that you help support other people. And it's not just about Beachbody. And I feel like that's why we get such a bad rap, because everyone thinks like, oh, Beachbody is so bad. And I'm like, no, it's not Beachbody is bad. It's the fact that they think that we're trying to, what do they call us? Shillers or something? I don't even know. Every day it's a different word that they refer to us as. But it's like, they're just jealous because they don't get to have the community that we have. And it's a really special place to be. And I feel so sad for all the girls who are new coaches that don't get to go to Summit this year, because if you haven't been to Summit, it's something that you should 100% strive for next year. And start saving your pennies, start saving whatever it is that you possibly can. But Summit will change your life in so many different ways. And every year that I go, it changes my life again and again and again and again. And you become a different person. And if you're not consistently growing, if you're not consistently transitioning, and if you're not consistently changing every single time that you are on social media, then you're doing it wrong, because you're not meant to stay the same. You're meant to grow, and you're meant to evolve, and you're meant to share that part of you with everyone else. Because if you're not, you're doing a disservice to Beachbody and what we stand for. And it's not about drinking a shake, and it's not about doing a workout. It's about you sharing your lifestyle and how much Beachbody has been an intricate part in helping you get the lifestyle that you so desperately want. And I know for me, like, I've still got a long road ahead of me, and I'm nowhere near even like being at the end of my journey. But I know that Beachbody is something that is helping me get there. And it's not because it's helping me pay my bills, and it's not because I'm drinking a shake every day. It's because of the feeling and the passion that exudes through my body, knowing that I'm a part of such a great company that has such a great representation behind it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. My son needs me really quick. Hold on.
Does anyone have any questions for Alison?
Sorry. I won't bite, I promise.
I have a question.
Good, yay.
You said, does anyone else have a question? I don't want to interrupt, but I have a question. What is your, I know you don't like autumn. What is your favorite program?
Lift 4, 1 quadrillion% Lift 4.
Okay.
I've done it like, I mean, I'm on my, I think this is the last hybrid. I've literally done every single hybrid because I'm obsessed with him. He is so amazing. And if you've ever met him in person, like, you would understand why. Like, he literally is like such a nice guy. And I told him how hot he was too. And he was like, oh my, you should see the picture. My girlfriend snapped it as I was like, you were hot. And he was like, his head is the, but no, I got the best. 80 Day Obsession gave me the best transformation. I intermittent fast now. I was doing time nutrition when I did do that. I followed it to a T. I did not cheat one time. I get the best results from it, and I love it. And I would have done it again, but it's an hour and I have to marathon train. And plus I just had major surgery 7 months ago. I had my breast implants removed. So I was kind of limited to what I can do. But I wanted to gain my upper body strength back again. So that's why I committed to doing all the Lift hybrid schedules this year. But I am going to do Muscle Burns Fat when it comes out. So I'm done with the work Lift hybrid this week. And then I'm just going to do Lift until I'm like, so I have to do Lift. I can't do anything else. And I'm going to be sad probably when I can't do it anymore. But Lift is my favorite program ever. I got the best results from that one.
So I have one more question about the cold messaging. When you say that you cold message, so is it really just you're inviting from your people that are watching your stories?
Not until whoever said that in our pod the other week was I doing that. I was just literally going through my whoever follows me and just sending them a message.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying like, hey, my next lifestyle academy is starting in a week. I want to know if you want some more information about it. But
Okay.
when we talked about it in our pod, and whoever shared what they were saying to people, I changed it into that. But I always personalize it too. Like now I'm sending it to people who watch my stories, because I was not sharing my stories on Facebook until like a month ago. I did not realize that I wasn't doing that. And now I'm getting so much traction on Facebook because people are like, where have you been this whole time? And I'm like, well, I'm on the gram, you know. But I did get blocked on Instagram from sending messages because they don't let you send more than like 10 or 15 messages in a day, which I think is complete and utter bullshit. On Facebook, you can get away with doing like 50 or 100 before they block you. So it's the whole algorithm thing. But I also want to tell you guys this, and Josh taught us this, and I don't know if I don't know if any of you are in the Push Mastermind, but if you do not have an email funnel, you need to create one. I don't know if Melissa said this to you or not, but I am all about getting people's emails now and building up an email list, because I send out a weekly newsletter as well, which is something that I like to lead with value all the time. I like my followers to know that when they come to my page, they're going to get some kind of information that is going to be useful for them. So like when I share my stories, I pull shit off of Google, like about, oh, well, why should you be weightlifting while you're marathon training? And I'm trying to explain to people, like, you need great upper body strength for your kinetic energy when you're running, so that your body formation is in line with each other and you actually can gain momentum from upper body strength. And the same thing goes with your core. So it's like I share little parts of that during my workouts in my stories so that people are like, oh, well, I never knew that. I also have a YouTube video, our YouTube channel, that is a complete and utter disaster, but I love it because I just love to talk, and I will talk to anybody who will listen to me. So I'm big on sharing as much as you possibly can to provide as much value, just to gain traction. So if you're not doing Instagram TVs, I think that that's huge for you, because then you get that into your algorithm, and then people find you on the Explorer page from an IGTV. And it could be a minute or two, you know what I mean? Like something of value that is a thought that maybe you had during the day, or something that you want to share with someone really super quick, that will always be there for them to look at. But I do believe that the more, and Melissa taught us this too, Melissa McAllister, that you need to lead with value, and then people will know, like, and trust you, as Josh said, because they know that they're going to come to your page and you're going to present them with something that they're going to leave and say, oh, well, I never knew that. Now I want to come back and see what she's going to share with me next time. So everybody, I feel like, has their own passage, rite of passage. You know what I mean? And like, for me, I share the benefits of celery juice because that's something that I drink every single day. And I share about breast implant illness because that's something that affected me. And I have digestive problems. So I talk about irritable bowel syndrome, and I talk about ulcerative colitis, and I talk about divorce, and I talk about being a single mom to teenage boys. And like, so it's like people know that what they're going to get when they come to my page, because they know what I'm about. So as long as you stay consistent with the message that you're sharing, you'll get the traction when it comes to your business, and you'll just attract those people. And now, like me, I change with the seasons. So, but I don't do it so drastically where all of a sudden I'm like, okay, bam, and now there's something else. I led into my marathon training. I told people since I signed up in October, okay, I'm going to be marathon training. So I would always tell them, I'm picking a program because I do my homework, I do my research, I educate myself on what's going to be more beneficial for me so that I can be successful. So I would always say, like, okay, well, I'm going to focus on lifting weights because it's something that runners need. And I'm showing them now that all that hard work I put in the last 6 months is now going to take me into marathon training, and hopefully I'm going to PR. So I always put out what my intention is, so that way too, they gravitate more towards, well, I want to see her fail, or I want to see her succeed. You know what I mean? And it's not, failing is not a bad thing either, because then you just pick yourself back up and you show your followers, well, I might not have did it the right way that time, but I'm going to redo it again, maybe at a different time in my life, and maybe I'll be successful again. So don't be afraid to show up and fail, because that's what makes us human too. And it makes us more realistic because we can't be picture perfect. And why would you want to be anyways? You know what I mean? I feel like that's super overrated. So I don't know. I hope that I gave you guys something.
It was awesome. You did awesome. Any last questions, guys?
Thank you guys.
We're good. Thank you so much, Allison. This was really great.
You're welcome. And if you guys ever want to reach out to me, I'm totally down for, you know, if you guys have questions after the fact that you think of, and like I said, if I
Just know you might get a message from her.
it's fine. You might get a cold message from me. And don't tell me to fuck off though. Okay? No one has really ever said that to me. I've got
I love it.
I'm like, whatever, it's fine. Thick skin, girls, thick skin.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
You most certainly do.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, girls, for coming on. I love ya.
Bye.
All right, bye. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.